EarlyMorningMob.com. It's the Golden Debate Show Part 2. Now Tony's is in the building. We're waiting for Capo to come through. Don't talk to me, do I see you on the other side? You actually have to have the headphones on. Donation, please!
Get the switch. Get the power surge flowing. Golden Debate Show.
Go there until your fucking eyes fall out. EarlyMorningMob.com, Golden Debate Show and the Golden Show.
Yo, I was there yesterday and I played all 5 videos at the same time. Maybe
yeah, you need your own blend. That's kind of stupid though, but it's dope at the same time. You're dugged up, if you will. We call it getting golden.
Rolled out.
Science. Okay. It's just a theory.
Golden Debate Show, EarlyMorningMob.com. Like, comment, share, and download.
UFOs looked like those pyramids. And fucking UFOs landed for a little while and gave them all their advanced technology and gave them all the crazy shit and then flew off. And so
she's just going deep into the what if drawer.
So, yeah, this is deep in the what if drawer. This is way underneath a lot of other what ifs.
Soaring like, the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Those fucking pyramids kind of look like they could be spaceships. Like whenever I think of spaceships, I think, why wouldn't it look like a pyramid? It could be a pyramid. So maybe fucking they were visited by advanced intelligence that look like those pyramids.
I mean, to discuss that, you got to be pretty disgusting.
The problem with the pyramids is the incredible mathematical equations that are required to create something so perfect. There's 2,300,000 stones in the pyramid, the Great Giza pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza. That's think about how many fucking stones that is.
It's a lot of stones.
They weigh between 2 and 80 tons, and some of them
Black Hawk choppers.
Come from the quarry. It's like 500 miles.
I mean, to discuss that, you got to be pretty disgusting.
They're perfectly put in place. You ever seen the King's Chamber? You know, where in the Great Pyramid? It's insane. They don't have any idea how they built it. They have no idea how they got these incredibly large stones cut so perfectly and so smooth. And they found bore marks in the sarcophagus. It's from a diamond bit drill.
The dude finds
like
the video
that we have today.
What's
the file cabinet?
What's that
it's
called?
locked, so he jimmies the file cabinet and finds his kid's journal, his brother's journal, and in the journal it describes how his brother was kidnapping little kids and murdering them, molesting them, doing all types of crazy shit.
This is what movie?
It's called Daddy's Little Girl.
Now, to me, dude, you're the best movie analyst I've ever seen. Sometimes I ask you to break down clips in this fashion, and maybe we should have a third podcast breaking down movies golden style. But let's get back into the Joe Rogan clip, everybody. EarlyMorningMob.com.
Aspect of the stuff you're talking about, which is
Black Hawk choppers soaring the night sky, but this is only a drill.
You got to be pretty disgusting.
You'll find batteries. You know what I mean? Or you'll find...
Yeah, I'm thinking of cryptozoology, but I know what you're talking about.
You'll find like something that there's no way that it should exist back then. It almost indicates time travel or something.
Have you ever, not time travel, but have you ever looked into Graham Hancock? Have you ever read any of his stuff?
No, I know that.
I want to give you Fingerprints of the Gods before you leave. It's one of my favorite books. And this guy, Graham Hancock, is an archaeologist, and he traveled all over the world looking at all these ancient civilizations and ancient structures and studied all the different, different cataclysmic event stories that every single religion seems to have that are in the Epic of Gilgamesh and in the Bible. And what he believes is that somewhere around 10,000 years ago, there was some event on Earth. And there was a super advanced civilization that existed before that. Yeah. And we have been around a lot longer than we think. And that what the pyramids are literally is people rediscovering some shit that a super, super advanced civilization that had been reset many thousands of years ago. What we see, like when you see like the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx and all these things that they can't explain, the Sphinx enclosure, what we see is the proof that there was some sort of a super advanced civilization many, many, many thousands of years before where the archaeologists currently date to be, the time they built the pyramids. And there's a guy named John Anthony West that has dedicated his entire life to trying to let people look at Egypt in a different way. And he believes that the Egyptian, the drawings, the depictions of pharaohs, they go back over 34,000 years. But for whatever reason, conventional Egyptologists are unwilling to look at that kind of evidence. They don't want to look at anything that makes it seem like everything is all fucked up and there was some sort of an event that hasn't been documented and the people that
Black Hawk choppers soaring in the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Moved into all this shit, and you know, it's
like this conversation we're having about the pyramid.
Yeah,
the Egyptians were having it too.
I'm sure.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Right. Where did this shit come
make
from?
That?
Exactly.
People have been saying that for a long time.
Exactly. We found it like secondhand. They found it first, and well, this guy Graham Hancock has traveled all over the world, taking all this footage of these incredible structures that people have made that map out the cosmos, that match constellations, and all these different societies. Yeah, like Machu Picchu. That fucking thing. Like how the fuck? They don't even know how anybody got anything up there.
Yeah.
They're like, these guys got these giant fucking stones up there where there's no air, and they built these incredible structures many, many, many thousands of years ago. Like they have no idea when, and they think that it might have even been at a time where water was up there. Like it's fucking nuts, man. When you really find out how much of these ancient structures and ancient civilizations, how much evidence there is for it. But when they start bringing this stuff up to conventional archaeologists, they always say, "Well, where's the evidence for these cultures?"
Like vampires in it.
No, it's not about vampires. Well, technically, it is about vampires, but not the ones everyone else is thinking. No Nosferatus. It's talking about how all these.
The problem
companies,
with that is the last time
these chemical plants and shit like that, they'll go take your land and they'll pollute it.
7,000 BC.
And they'll tell you, like drinking water safe. Meanwhile, it has 45% fluoride and then it also has pesticides and shit.
Correct.
So, they were giving these vampires that taste their own medicine.
Correct. So as we wrap up the Joe Rogan Experience clip, in Tone's epic movie breakdown.
Yes, we will be having a movie show coming close to you soon called Golden Theaters.
Much more likely.
I guess I got nothing better
far older civilization that disappeared.
We'll get into this next clip once I find it most interesting. It's the beginnings in the... Well, Chris Jericho has a podcast. Everybody got a fucking podcast. But Chris Jericho got a podcast, and he had Stone Cold up there, and he talks about how Vince wanted him to be one thing and how he broke down Stone Cold. So we'll get into a little lighthearted shit after this to break it up.
Everything has to be made out of stone.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
But when they first found the Sphinx in I forget which fucking pharaoh they attribute it to the guy who supposedly they think built the Sphinx, but it's in the hieroglyphs. It literally says that he was told in a dream that if he uncovered the Sphinx, he would go on to rule Egypt. He had to uncover it. You know why? Because it was covered in fucking sand.
Right.
They had to actively dig it out of the sand.
Yeah.
It was up to its head in sand.
Right.
Not only that, the head has been altered. Like they know that the head used to be far larger and was much more likely the head of a lion. And then some pharaoh was like, I don't like that lion. I want my face up there, bitch. And so that's when they put his face up
one of those
and more likely, it was one of these African pharaohs,
like,
because he has a face of a Nubian.
The
Nubians conquered Egypt in the end of the Egyptian Empire.
You got anything to say about this clip?
Yeah.
About the Nubians?
The Nubians conquered, and their pharaohs
ancient
were much more
civilizations and...
I've always wished I could have, as much as...
Pretty much he was relating how, they look Nubian-like, obviously, the Egyptians, and Jesus kind of looks white, whatever. That's because Michelangelo, whatever, painted a guy who looked like his cousin or something.
All these different things from all over the world. And it will absolutely convince you that there is at least...
You're all going to take shit to what you see and what you know.
Right now, everybody wants to think that everything they've been taught in school, everything they're teaching their students right now is the information. And it's very difficult to get them to read.
Let's get into the Chris Jericho
motherfuckers that won't look at the Sphinx.
This is Jericho, starring Chris Jericho.
On the line, returning from such an amazing conversation last week, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But tell me about the conversation that you had when you went to Vince to tell him, listen, the Ringmaster ain't happening. I want to change to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I'd kind of seen that special on that serial killer.
Yeah,
and that's when they sent me all the bad names. No, it was Fang McFrost, Autobahn Ruthless, and Ice Dagger. Temperature-based name off a cold-blooded guy that I had seen.
Right.
So anyway, I came up with the name, and so then I called Vince and said, Vince, I said, I got it. I said, man, I want to be called no, Jerry Briscoe was actually my go-to guy back then. I called Jerry, and I said, hey, Jerry, I came up with the gimmick, my name. I said, I want to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I want to be from Victoria, Texas. Hey, everything clears. You're Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're from Victoria, Texas. And so I remember showing up at TV a week or two later from Victoria, Texas, Stone Cold Steve Austin. No fanfare, no nothing. I remember Scott Hall coming up to me. He just came in the company or
Black Hawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Before they left. And he goes, hey, man, what's with the Stone Cold thing? And I said, hey, man, it's just an idea, you know. It's just, and I kind of cut a little bit of a promo for him. I said, it's just an idea, man. It is what it is. You know the way
yes.
Richard talks. She goes, okay, dude. Sure enough, it turned out to be an okay thing.
Yeah, that's right. It sure did. It sure did. Obviously, the biggest catchphrase of all time, Austin 316. Was that something that you wrote, or did you just say it off the top of your head?
Hey, man, check it out, Chris. What happened was we were in the Madison Square Garden, and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were fixing to go down south to WCW, and that's when the infamous curtain call happened.
Right.
And all those guys from the Clique went out there and hugged. And so those guys went down south, and Shawn Michaels and Triple H, who had also, been a part of the big hug, they broke kayfabe. In Madison Square Garden, dude, that's hallowed ground.
Absolutely.
You don't break kayfabe back in the day in Madison Square Garden. So those guys went down south. So Triple H was going to win the King of the Ring in 1996. He was going to get a big shove. But because of that curtain call, Vince had to put the heat on somebody, and he put it on Triple H. So I remember we was up there in Lowell, Massachusetts one day, somewhere about there, and I'm walking across the parking lot, and I didn't know Vince real well at the time. And he goes, hey, Steve, you got a second?
And all that shit.
I said, yeah, man, what's going on?
That wrestling shit's
well, I
crazy.
just want to let you know.
People forget Stone Cold started in WCW.
Yeah, and we was just talking. He was like, yeah, he was already in WCW. Stone Cold wasn't tight.
He had hair and shit. But it wasn't the kick-ass gimmick like you got now. So. All right, so let's get into some more important facts. This one I find pretty interesting and pretty fucking dead wrong.
Kansas saw an ad on Craigslist from a lesbian couple. The lesbian couple wanted to get pregnant and
donated
they were looking
sperm,
for
now
a
he owes
sperm
child
donor.
support, y'all.
Well, Murata wanted to help them out, so he did
That's
offer
not
3
God.
cups
Only
of
for the simple fact when you donate sperm, there's a confidentiality, and I know certain laws and court orders will make you find out if you're the father or not, but if he donated shit, he shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
And they had a little girl in
March,
December of 2009. Now, 5 years later, unfortunately, the couple separated, and one of them got extremely sick, and they needed help financially to raise their daughter. So they petitioned the state to get some sort of governmental assistance so they can take care of their child. Well, in the process of doing so, the state of Kansas ruled that the sperm donor is actually the one who is financially responsible for the child, even though he signed paperwork indicating that he would not be financially responsible or have any parental responsibility whatsoever. So this did go to court, and the Shawnee County District Court Judge Mary Mativi has said that no, sorry, since you did not go
that's kind of loopy, crazy. So you're telling me I could have dropped kids off at the pool, and now that they're coming back, I gotta pay for it? I ain't gone.
Well, I guess in this case the government was like, I ain't paying for it, peace.
It wasn't a romantic relationship. He didn't have sex with her. He did not intend to be.
Well, that tells me signing a document don't mean shit nowadays. So you can sign a contract and
you're going to help lesbians? Yeah. Well, we're going to make you pay the price for it. Now, look, I hope to God that those, the couple
get that mac and cheese. Everybody
now the guy
deserves their mac and cheese.
To give them a check when he was just trying to help them out.
As we
I
move
hope to God
on
that they
here,
return the check.
Turning the ashes of a deceased relative into diamonds. This was a story on NPR, and it is incredible. There's a Swiss company called Algordanza, which takes cremated human remains and under very high heat and very high pressure that mimic the conditions deep within the earth that create diamonds, compresses the human remains into diamonds. Rinaldo Willi is the company's founder and CEO. He says he came up with this idea about 10 years ago, and that his customer base now reaches 24 countries. He says every year they take the remains of 800 to 900 people, and 3 months later, they exit as diamonds to be kept in a box or turned into jewelry. He says most of the stones come out blue because of trace amounts of boron in the human body.
Although the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Most of the people are being delivered, the remains are being delivered by relatives of the deceased. What do you think about this? It costs $5,000 to $22,000. It costs as much as some funerals. And this is the same laboratory process that is used to create synthetic diamonds. It basically reduces the ash into carbon and then applies
the reason
intense
I'm against
heat
the
and pressure
legalization
for
of pot is because I've seen too many felonies that stab each other, strangle each other,
I mean, to discuss that, you got to be pretty disgusting.
Family, kill families, wipe out a whole family.
Wipe out a whole family?
I just heard the news and I am in total shock.
Cannabis is on legal sale in Colorado.
I don't know what we're going to do.
People are lining up to legally purchase and smoke marijuana recreationally in the state of Colorado.
Apparently, Colorado has recently legalized a deadly, evil, and dehumanizing substance.
Stab each other.
I mean, it's disgusting.
Marijuana.
I'm stunned that lawmakers would say pot is okay.
Property owner can smoke on his or her front porch, even if it can be viewed from the street.
You know what? Colorado gets what they asked for.
I've just been sitting here waiting for the news to roll off the
GoldenDebateshow,
wire.
Golden Debate Show, like, comment, share, and down.
Say it over there. But this is only
disgusting. I don't know. Just don't make
I mean, I just thought pot was a highly addictive substance.
Richard Sherman recently addressed the critics that he experienced on Twitter and other social media sites. He was called a thug quite a bit after he had that post-game interview on Sunday. Apparently, about 625 people had referred to him as a thug on American television.
So now those are not guys on Twitter, right? I mean, those are people that are on television.
Yeah.
So they're professionals to some degree, right? And they're calling him thug. Look, if you don't know that thug is a code word for the N-word, you're not paying attention. Like, I mean, I know some people are going to flip out. No, that's not true. Look, Incognito was a thug, a bullier who was in the NFL. Richard Sherman in the NFL, right? Incognito was that lineman for the Dolphins that bullied his teammates, and they eventually got kicked. Nobody called him a thug. Nobody called him a thug. Listen to what Richard Sherman
disgusting. Tell him where to go.
And they know
Early morning mob. Kizam.
I thought that my whole
Golden
life.
Debate Show style, live with Carl Calzone and Two-Tone Tortellini.
You hear Watts, you hear cities like that.
Slinging you that golden Krizak.
He's a gangster. He's this. He's that, and the other. And then you hear Stanford, and they're like, "Oh man, that doesn't even make sense."
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
And I think this event in Japan could serve as a huge wake-up call for people. It really is time that we put the world back on the right track. It really is time that we realised what's going on. It really is time that we looked at this whole money-based structure that we've created, well, that's been created for us, and realised that it's all fictional. It's this dependence upon this interest-based system and putting a dollar value on everything that has created the situation that we are now facing. And it is an opportunity, folks. It's an opportunity for humanity to wake up to itself. And we seriously need to do it, folks, because if we don't, then we are going to continue the decline in our species that we are now seeing. And it is a decline, folks. And things such as the Venus Project aren't going to save it. We don't need a resource-based economy.
It is
we don't
big
even need
idea.
to pull a quarter of
A
the
new
resources
world
out
order,
of the planet that we do.
where diverse
we don't
nations
need to do anything.
are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind. With few exceptions, the world now stands as one. A year and a half ago, in Germany, I said that our goal was a Europe whole and free. Tonight, Germany is united. Europe has become whole and free. The world can therefore seize this opportunity to fulfill the long-held promise of a new world order. We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves. A shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light.
So that is one thing that I found to be particularly disturbing about the Venus Project. I mean, should humanity change?
Deserves their mac and cheese.
And sure, the Venus Project, I'm sure, has some merit. But to simply take that design on board as the new society that we need to create, well, frankly, I couldn't live there, folks, and I don't want any part of it. I prefer to be living in a food forest. I prefer to be simply granted a quarter-acre block from birth.
GoldenDebateshow.com. Yes. So this next clip I just find crazy altogether. Senator, a guy, one of the senators, lead guys, whatever, is accused of child.
I think they're very
turns off the mic there.
He
Which is crazy as it is.
Well, he was
But
just found dead
he wasn't going to kill himself, and he got found hanging.
Is, was
because he knew something possibly about
suicided?
Sanatar.
Now, originally, the judge ordered the accused to file
soaring through the night sky, but this is only
he had made statements suggesting he was a suicide risk. Now, his lawyer dismissed that notion, saying Loskarn taking his life was not a concern. Isn't that curious? We hear that quite often with these mysterious
Blackhawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only a drill.
So let's take a look at some more of these mysterious deaths. We have the case of the D.C. cop. He was accused of child porn, and he was found dead in a river just days after he was released from prison. Then we have
some of
the
these
case
ones
of
that
David Smith.
have child in them,
He
of
was
course,
the former
some people
driver
probably
of
got
Jimmy
got.
Seville. He's the ex-BBC driver.
Don't take him.
And he
You know
was
what I'm saying?
found
That's
dead the
something-
very day
Some of
that
these
he
people
was
like
set
Michael
to stand
Hastings
trial
and things like that,
for
those are a
his
little
sex
crazy.
crimes. Now, his cause of death was unknown at the time. It was an apparent suicide. Then, going all the way back to 1998, we have the mysterious death of the prosecutor. He was attempting to go after Jerry Sandusky when it first came to light that Jerry Sandusky had been being inappropriate with a little boy. Now, for whatever reason, this prosecutor decided not to try Sandusky. Maybe he didn't have enough evidence at the time. But he went missing in 2005, and he still hasn't been found.
Out of all the situations
now, his friends and colleagues say that Greiker was not the type to walk away.
And common sense.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
You know, like we always argue that marijuana is a a safer and funner alternative to being drunk necessarily, or blah blah blah. As Louis Armstrong said, it's worth 100 assistants.
Worth 100
assistants, yeah. He said, I don't know. He would have said it's better than 100 whiskeys. Sorry, he said he always considered it a friend and assistant, which I thought was really funny. But psychedelics are
to discuss that, you got to be pretty disgusting.
You know, you're a drug addict. Or whatever.
Well, if you smoke weed, you're a pothead.
I mean, Blackhawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Discuss that. You got to be pretty disgusting.
When I found out that you were the one who actually did you introduce Doug Benson to marijuana?
That's the legend. If you saw that Werner Herzog movie, it's written on one of the cave walls. There's a petroglyph of Doug and I, stylized, of course. You can't hardly recognize. You can see my glasses.
OldieMorningMob.com. Go check out the new website. It's been updated. It's been refreshed. I would say revamp, but I don't like that word because I don't like vamps.
No,
Holiday.
What year was this?
58.
Blackhawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only a drill.
It's been polished, so it's now even more golden.
He claims that he had smoked it before but not got high, you know what I mean? Like, he'd had some, so... Because a lot of times, you have to get high
There's other guys that they look like, I don't know! This don't make no sense.
And then I brought a bunch of weed, and what I remember is the condo was near the beach, and we were just fucking doofuses, and, you know... We would just go to the beach every day and get high, and then when we were at the beach, we would watch MTV's Beach Party.
Oh my god!
And I remember him laying on the couch laughing hysterically at one point and kicking his legs in the air, and I was like, "Let's go get fish tacos," and he was like, "Dude," you know, and like it was just that stupid of a
right.
of a weekend. We just fucking, and then at night we'd go do sets. Yeah. We were working at the Improv.
Right.
And he claims that was where he started. And I guess the carefree lifestyle that we were living that week seduced him so hard because of its beguiling poetry that he realized as an independent soul, he could finally take control away so much of what I had a kid say to me once, I was on the road in like Addison, Texas or something, and the guy I was working with was a nice fellow. And he would go out and he would buy like peanut butter and like cereal that you'd see on TV and stuff, which made me laugh because I'm from San Francisco, you know. And like he would come back with like a shopping list you'd see on television, like Wonder Bread. And he was a nice fellow. And he would run and whatnot. And I remember what year it was. I was watching the Anita Hill hearings on TV, and there was a Raiders game that weekend or a Niners game, and there was a fire in the East Bay, and you could see the fire over the county.
What year was that?
90, 91, somewhere in there.
Wow.
Laying on the couch smoking weed, and he goes, "You gonna smoke pot all fucking day, Proops?" And I go, "Let me ask you something." Whatever his name was, Danny.
What?
I go, "Let me ask you something."
I'm pulling up this story. A
Who kills
teacher
every
faces
night?
pot poisoning charges.
All right.
Police in North California
your
have arrested
program.
an elementary school teacher
I
after
was
she
bored, too. I
allegedly
was trapped in
brought
the car.
marijuana-laced
It was one of
food
those ones that wasn't
to an after
soaring to
or
the night sky,
after-hour
but this is
employee
only
potluck dinner.
The Get It Pop Brownie Luck.
Yep.
It's all day.
Teresa
And it's all day
Gelman
watching
Badger,
TV, and
47-year-old
you could be
teacher at
scanning for
Matthews
something
Turner
that
Elementary School
inspires you
in
enough to be your next
Mendocino,
closing
was
bit.
arrested
So you're
Friday
actually
afternoon on
working.
suspicion of poisoning
So even when you're
after a
lounging,
6-week-long
I think
investigation.
of stuff in bed. I lay in bed, and if I wake up in the middle of the night, I go, I need to do a thing tomorrow.
Golden Debate Show. We break stories like that. Like how you were fumbling through the paper. We're staying here live. We have a new late breaking story.
You
and
can
you did it without
manufacture
stumbling.
it.
GoldenDebateshow.com.
But it works better if you don't, I think.
Yeah, it's
and everybody gets dry. Sometimes you get dry.
This other guy.
Also, working hard makes you not get dry.
No,
that's true too.
Just don't
It's
make
a
no
muscle.
sense to everybody.
Yeah, I think there's like a vibe that you get into when you're really writing a lot, and that vibe sort of like it becomes like a part of your consciousness, and then the more you feed it, the more you do it.
You got more late breaking news?
Well, what happened was, I guess somebody wasn't feeling well, so then when they went to the hospital to get tested, 15-year-old girl got sick after
the idea of the
party,
is
after she
that's
brought
always
home
been so
leftovers.
fascinating to me, and like I love listening.
And then
to
they
how other people do it.
investigated.
You know, especially comics. Like some of them are just fucking. They just sit down and put in the time, just put in the hours. And some of them just sit around and watch things all day and scratch their head and look at the internet and just poke around and prod. You know, and then some of them they just write in stand-up form. Some people write in blog form.
Don't you love when you think a joke springs fully formed from your breast and you haven't thought of it? It just comes out and you do it and it's perfect and you go, like people always say, you know, whatever, the Beatles, how did you write that song? And sometimes they'll go, honestly, I sat down and
I hear that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes it does have
I didn't write it.
Get that mac and cheese, everybody.
Every once in a while, there'll be
Black Hawk choppers soaring to the night sky, but this is only a drill.
And it may even not be like genius or anything. It's just that
the combination of increased digital information and powerful supercomputers
that your subconscious pushed
offers intelligence agencies the possibility of sifting through massive amounts of bulk data to identify patterns or pursue leads.
This weird thing
that may thwart
again, it goes back
impending
to
threats.
the ego. This
It's a
weird
powerful
thing
tool.
Whoever the fuck you think of yourself
government collection
as,
and
this
storage
Black
of
Hawk
such
choppers soaring to the night sky, but this is only a drill.
You gotta be pretty disgusting.
You want to take credit for the idea. The way creativity comes, it comes when you're in this state of like open, when you're open to receive.
Tell them where to go.
Thinking about things.
EarlyMorningMob.com.
Golden Debate Show and the Golden Show, like, comment, share, and download to your iPhone.
Word. You gotta get golden like Mello did yesterday, scoring 62.
Instead of that, it's all coming from openness. And then sometimes it's just like moments.
Black Hawk choppers soaring to the night sky, but this is only a drill.
You can't even write them down quick enough. You're giggling while you're writing them. It's like a gift. It's like a gift for thinking the right way, or a gift for
scoring over here.
I know Jordan scored with nickel.
Like realizing that you were the lucky one to be able to.
So remember, like, comment, share, and download, and go check out the new earlymorningmob.com.
So awesome because you say funny shit. No, you're the lucky one.
Hasta luego.
Share, download,
tune in.
Love it.
Aloha.
Like it.
Praise
Make love to it.
Honor these
guys.
I think just pushing yourself to think of something.
Carl Kells.
It's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
We out like that.
I'll just